Hello, welcome to RES INDICA IAS Academy. This is India's only design-based learning platform for the civil services aspirants. Desh Badla, Padhai Badlu. In this edition, we are going to discuss the newspaper analysis of 8th of June, 8th of June 2023. Here I have tried to collate important news articles and editorials of the Hindu newspaper and Indian Express. I have also added for your reference the newspaper articles, the newspaper clippings from where I have sourced this particular items. This you can download from our website. Now, coming to the mind maps. The first mind maps is here we are going to talk about some economics, some educational news. Okay. Now, the first news is new education policy and reforms. We all are very well knowing that new education policy was rolled out in 2020 and till now only few states have implemented them. Why? Because education is a state subject. Now, coming on to the news at hand. First of all, what it has achieved. See, point number one. National Education Policy 2020 outlined reforms to be pursued in education until 2040. So this gives us a roadmap that the education policy of the country has to follow until 2040. Second one is introduction of the common entrance test for central universities. Third, granting more autonomy to the universities to collaborate with the foreign institution. This has been used for the past year also, that foreign institutions are allowed to set up their campuses in India and also start up joint course structure with the Indian universities. Nipun Bharat is a very prominent initiative. This has been launched to strengthen the foundational literacy for the children between 3 to 9 of age groups. But there are some concerns also related to this particular new education policy. The first is midday meal scheme renamed as PM Poshan without any additional funds allocation. Though we have changed the name of midday meal schemes to PM Poshan, but no additional fund has been allocated to this particular initiative. Launched the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan scheme, got less funding. Got the news? Now, what are the big plans and some key changes, some key gains with relate to school textbook? NCERT books, they have taken 3 rounds of revision till 2017. And the recent revision took place in 2023 itself. Why? Because this has been aimed at reducing the burden on student, includes deletions having acquired political implication. Changes in the NCERT books, they have both educational and political connotation. But we are more concerned with the educational connotation with these changes pertains. Got the point? Now, what is still stuck? First of all, key vacancies. Central education institutions continue to face shortage of quality teachers. IIM Act of 2017 granted unprecedented academic and administrative autonomy to the 20 Indian Institute of Managements functioning inside the country. More with regard to the autonomy, UGC introduced the graded autonomy scheme. Now, you as student, what needs to be done is that you should go back home and try to search what does graded autonomy scheme pertains to. What is the major concern related to that? Increased autonomy is existing only on theory and not in practical life. Again, Modi government second term is more eventful than the first one in terms of education. However, some promises and initiatives from the first one have either failed or have not taken off until now. Let us see what the future has in hold for us. Coming to the next news, let us have a look at some economics news. First of all, government has hiked the Kharif MSPs and the farmers have demanded more MSP. Here you should know that MSP stands for minimum support price, which is the price which is announced by the government before the sowing season, so as to incentivize them to grow some crops. You all very must be knowing that MSP is decided by the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs on the recommendation of CACP, that is Commission for Agriculture Costs and Prices. What actually the data is? The data is that there has been an increase from 5.3% to 10.35 hike in the MSP of all the mandated kharif crops for 2023 and 2024. Question for you, which you have to reply in the comment section, is how many crops in India come under the regime of MSP? Coming back to the next news, BSNL revival. Government has allocated 89,000 crore for 4G and 5G spectrum. Government has approved the outlay of 89,000 crore for the outlay of 4G and 5G spectrum through equity infusion. What is the third news? Why the area under the cotton cultivation is likely to shrink in this kharif season? First reason is relative price fluctuation in cotton is more than the other crops. Why? Because cotton as a crop, it needs 270 frost-free days. So whenever the frost comes in, there is a change in the supply and subsequently price fluctuations. Kapas, which is raw unginned cotton, is a long duration crop harvested over 4 to 5 pickings. And monsoon uncertainty, as El Nino is predicted in this year in July and August. Again, what you need to do is that go back to your static, get to know what is El Nino, what is La Nina, and their impact on Indian monsoon and economy in general. Coming back to the next news. How KFON aims to bridge the digital divide in India. First of all, what is KFON? KFON stands for Kerala Fiber Optic Network, which is to provide internet connection free of cost to 20 lakh BPL families. Got the point? The KFON Limited, which is a joint venture of the Kerala State Electricity Board and the Kerala State Information Technology Infrastructure Limited. What is the background of this news? The background of this news is in 2019, the LDF government in Kerala announced that the access to internet will be a basic right in the state. And in India, it became the first state to do so, which is being materialized in the form of KFON. What is the government role in providing services? Kerala government role involves setting up a vast infrastructure required for providing internet. Especially the focus will be on the remote corners of the state. Internet connection will be provided to 7,000 BPL families across the state, and each household will get approximately 1.5 GB data per day for their consumption. Now, how will this plan be rolled out? Free internet connection will be provided to the BPL families and government institution as a part of one part deal of rupees 1548 crore KFON project. The rest of the network will be monetized. Digital literacy campaign begin at grassroots level to ensure that everyone is equipped to the basic right of internet. Therefore, internet as a basic right has continued to gain momentum in recent times. And the time is not far away where access to internet can also be given more higher status in the hierarchy of rights. Because all of you can imagine what the life would be without internet. Coming back to the next news, some world news at hand. India and US, they have reviewed their export control regulation. This was done at the inaugural US Strategic Trade Dialogue. It has focused on ways in which both the governments, they can help in the development of trade and technologies in critical domain. And these critical domain are semiconductor, telecommunication, quantum, artificial intelligence, defense and biotechnology. Next news, Fiji is reconsidering security ties with China as tension has soared in the Pacific region. Now, Fiji has expanded its policing agreement with China in 2013 to include some military cooperation. Fiji was finalizing a defense agreement with the New Zealand. It would allow Fiji's military to build its capacity and skills and be exposed to new technologies. In this way, Fiji is trying to expand its security basket and not tied to a single nation such as China, rather than diversifying its option in the long run. Coming back to the next news, we are going to talk about the sedition laws and the conflict. First of all, about the law itself. This law is being mentioned in section 124A of the IPC. What the point? Now, this law was not present in the original 1860 IPC, but what added through a subsequent amendment in 1870. What actually sedition is? Sedition seeks to punish the people for the speech or writing that brings or tries to bring hatred, contempt, or dissatisfaction to the government established by law. The purpose of this particular sedition law during the British era was to suppress the Indian voice. Okay, now the major opinion is that in a democratic republic where the people have the freedom of speech to criticize, to change a bad government, dissatisfaction towards a government cannot be an offense, because government can call any particular criticism towards it as an offense or as an attempt to dissettle or as an attempt to overthrow the rightfully established government. Let us look at some background. In 2022, Supreme Court of India had ordered a stay on all the existing proceedings and the registration of fresh cases under the sedition law. What the point? Some updates. Law Commission has made some recommendations. The first recommendation is offense of sedition should be retained in the penal law and enhanced punishment for the offense in the name of national security. But two concerns have been raised. One is the rampant misuse by the government, and the second, that is it actually relevant in today's modern democratic liberal age? Again, issues still exist because the attempt to bring sedition within the framework of the reasonable restriction is constitutionally impermissible. You should also go and look forward at the Kedarnath case if you want to know about the Supreme Court's interpretation of this particular article. So thank you very much. This is it for today. We will meet next time with the news analysis of that day's newspaper. Thank you very much.